for much as you've been ragging on Penn State, dude, they win this game, they get a bye.
Yes.
And that, they win this game, that changes a lot of the narrative about them.
100%.
And this is, what's it, 3.5, three
and a
point
half,
spread?
I believe.
3.5.
I mean, if you look statistically, look what the odds makers are saying. They're saying this is nip and tuck, man.
All I know is
these are basically the same team. I agree with you that Oregon has shown out more than Penn State this year. Obviously, they won their big game against Ohio State, and Penn State did not.
Yes.
But the Penn State game against Ohio State was close. And, of course, Oregon could have easily lost that Ohio State game.
Yep.
And then what would we be saying? We'd be saying this is the exact same team. So I think these teams are really close. I trust Lanning and Oregon, and I think they have a better coaching staff and a better quarterback. Outside of that, I don't know.
I'm looking, James Franklin, top 5 teams. And
yeah, he's 1-11.
He's 1-13.
I know.
He's 1-13.
I think it's 1-11.
No, I say it right here. Career record against top 5 ranked teams, 1-11. 2 of those may have been when he was at Vanderbilt, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe he's 1-11 at Penn State. I just don't have faith that Drew Aller and James Franklin will pull it out in a close game. But obviously, the Wisconsin game, the Boise State, if you play that way, if you're Oregon, Penn State will beat you.
Yeah, they can.
But when Oregon brings their A game, I still believe that Oregon is the best team in the country when they bring their A game. But let's be honest, as good as Oregon has been, as consistent as they've been, we have not always seen their A game.
Well, I think you got to credit the other team.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they will bring their A game here, but the other team has good players and coaches too. So there is going to be, I just think it's going to be a great game. I really do. I don't see Oregon blowing them out. And I think it's entirely possible that Penn State wins.
Yeah.
But I do trust when push comes to shove, execution, key plays, key third downs, not turning it over, a couple of big plays, maybe even a special teams momentum shifter play, something like Oregon has shown time and time again that they have that.
And I look at this game and I think it's going to be hard for both sides to just, go on 12 play drives, right? And you're going to need big plays. And I just trust Oregon's ability. And that was the difference in with Ohio State, right? They got big plays. When you look at everything from their outside receivers to Ferguson to Jordan James' ability to break one, I just think Oregon's going to get a couple of big plays. And I just am not convinced that Drew Aller and those receivers, look at their wide receivers. I don't think they have a wide receiver that cracks Oregon's rotation.
Well, but they have Warren, though.
They got Warren.
And he's a matchup problem.
He is, which is why I fully expect to see a linebacker with a safety over the top and say, anyone but you are going to beat us. And maybe that frees up some other guys, and maybe Aller and one of those guys on the outside decides to rear up. And if that's the case, that's where the upset can occur.
I will say this. I was listening to Lanning talk about Penn State a little bit, and, and we can get more into this as the week goes on, but the offensive coordinator at Penn State is a very, very good coach. His name is Andy Kotelnicki. And the reason I know him is that he was the Kansas OC last year. And Kansas's offense last year was absolute dynamite. It's part of the reason why they didn't even make a bowl this year is they lost him. Now, I think most people will be like, yeah, Penn State's offense ain't that great. No, statistically, it actually is.
Yeah,
they put up a lot of points and a lot of yards.
Yep.
But I think the key is, can they do that against the better teams? That remains to be seen. I just think listening to what Lanning was saying, Lanning said that Kotelnicki has been on his radar for a long time, because what he does is Lanning goes and he watches all of the biggest explosive plays of the season all around the country. And he said the one guy who kept showing up year after year was Kotelnicki. Yeah. He's really good because he does a lot of shifting and a lot of motions. He can confuse the defense. I saw him do it at Kansas, and it opens things up for guys like Drew Aller and Warren and is it Singleton?
Who's getting healthy, who's their big back.
So that, the scheme thing is another element of this that not everybody we don't talk about that. We talk about the players and the matchups, but OC versus DC, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because if Penn State can just get a couple of explosives against Oregon because of him,
then that
changes everything.
Ball game on.
And it was just interesting to hear Lanning talk. He doesn't. He's usually pretty generic about other coaches. He pointed out this dude's been on my radar.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I almost feel like he was kind of saying, I want to hire him if I lose Will Stein, and you should, because he should be at the top.
Is it possible he considered him when he did hire Will Stein?
It's possible, yeah, absolutely, and yeah, no question. So it's but he had been with Lance Leipold for years, but Penn State ended up getting him. But anyway, I don't know. I think this is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we'll talk more about it throughout the week. But by the way, it was really butt cold at Autzen on Saturday.
I can
they
imagine.
said?
Well, it's been butt cold.
I wasn't there.
Period. Nor was I. But
right in the butt.
It's been very
cold. But
cold.
they said, "Oh my God!"
And I'm actually kind of excited too that that we haven't seen, like, Ohio State Oregon would be great, but the rematch. But it's kind of fun that we get a
different opponent.
a different marquee brand and
one that's supposed to be a challenge for you.
Yeah,
I agree.
You haven't seen yet. I
I'm
like
excited.
it.
Yeah.